If it's anything this episode did well, is not waste time. Some might say that this was a filler episode of sort, but in fact it was all setups leading up to episode 8, which is supposed to be a turning point for Cassian Andor, and that's because we see what happened to him at the end of this one. By saying it didn't waste time, of course, we start immediately with Cyril and Luthen, the guys we seldom saw in episode 6. Cyril has been accepted into the Bureau of Standards. Slowly, he makes his way there, gets employed, doing menial tasks, and it's very apparent, especially by the end, that his time here and his time in general is being wasted. At least that's how he feels by the end credits, where the camera pans out of him, showing him that he is nothing more now than just a cog in a giant, unrecognizable machine. After what happened on Aldhani, Mon Mothma does not waste time. She immediately makes her way to Luthen's shop, and Luthen's shop, I gotta say, we gotta make a pit stop over here. Luthen's shop did not disappoint again. After that scene, we got the ISB Center and a great cameo, a comeback from a famous character that we all know and love, and that is Yularen. Yularen is back, and his presence is so commanding that even Parsec is taking a back seat to him. By the reaction of the Empire, Deirdre very accurately assumes that this is exactly what the rebels wanted with this stunt, for the Empire to overreact and show their hand. This is exactly what Yularen tells them to do, that whatever bounty was lost, whatever credits were lost on Aldhani, all the systems will pay unanimously through tax. The Empire will tighten its grip and therefore, according to Deirdre, lose more people and garner support for the rebellion instead. It is the wrong move. And by Deirdre's calculations and by what we know in future movies and series, this is exactly what happens. This is the turning point. Andor shows us, the Andor series shows us, where the rebellion starts to take track more and more to the point where, in the Battle of Andor, the Empire is completely lost, essentially. Inside Luthen's shop, we more clearly see now what seems to be Plo Koon's mask. That's what was being speculated from the trailers. This seems to be the shot that we saw there. But we got even more Easter eggs than previously. Outside of the Yutupawan sword, we also got a brief glimpse at a Jedi Temple Guardian mask. A mask that might as well have belonged to the Grand Inquisitor himself. In another shot, we also saw what was a Gungan shield that was used on the Battle of Naboo. We now understand more how secretive Luthen was, to the point where Mon Mothma was not fully aware of the details of the Aldhani attack, and she now presses Luthen even more that she needs to bring in a new person to the fold, something that Luthen is not in agreement with. While we see more of the districts of Coruscant, and it's getting more and more Blade Runner-y, it's pretty beautiful, I might add, and it should be more Blade Runner-esque because George Lucas originally based Coruscant on Blade Runner, on its visuals. We finally see Vel with her hair let down, a more relaxed meeting with Luthen's assistant, who gets the instructions of finding Cassian Andor and eliminating him since he knows about Luthen. We see how dark things we generally see how dark things are in the Andor series, and again, this is why I kind of love this series, because everybody's out for everybody. No holds barred. This is, anybody could get killed, anybody could be sought after. We know Andor survives because of Rogue One, and other characters like Mon Mothma, but most of the characters in here could die at any moment. And the Andor series makes that known every chance it gets. Back on Ferrix though, Cassian tries to take Marva with him and reminisce with Bix as well. On both accounts, he is let down gently. Marva refuses to go with him, while Bix is not satisfied with what Cassian actually did. He brought the Empire to their system, and now her boyfriend is dead, and the villagers hate Cassian for doing what he did. We also get a glimpse at the shots from the trailers where the clone troopers are essentially taking hold of Ferrix, and we realize it actually is a flashback to when the Empire first took over and it first used clones instead of stormtroopers as they were slowly phased out. Twice now we've heard from Mon Mothma telling Luthen that she wants to bring another person to the fold. We finally realize who it is. While most of us expected, at least I expected it to be Bail Organa, it seems that Bail will make his appearance later on in the show or maybe in the second season, but right now it is a childhood friend, a banker from Chandrilla. He's called Tay Kolma and he runs Kolma Banking. And throughout the episodes we know that the rebellion right now is desperate for funding. What was beautiful here is not only the mention of Palpatine by Yularen back in the ISB scene, but also Mon Mothma not only mentioning Palpatine, but also telling us that she was actually inspired by Palpatine. And this is more dialogue from Tony Gilroy that I love seeing in Star Wars, where all cards are on the table. There are no good guys or bad guys. Everybody is taking lessons from anywhere they can, to the point where the great leader of the rebellion, Mon Mothma, that we see in Return of the Jedi, we now get a bigger idea. We understand her character more. Do you even realize that the woman we see leading the rebels in episode 6 was actually inspired by Palpatine? She might have said that in jest, but I think there's more truth to that than she might lead on, because she's doing what Chancellor Palpatine and Senator Palpatine did in the past. She is laying in the shadows, scheming her way to the top, and eventually will usurp and conquer Palpatine's empire, which in fact she actually did with the Battle of Andor. Finally, we come to one of the greatest scenes in this episode, and that is the Blevin versus Dedra show that we got on the ISB floor. While Blevin tried to essentially depose Dedra from her post one final time, he overplayed his hand, where Dedra not only crushed him intellectually, it inspired Petrogast to get on her side as well, realizing that all these people are by the book, but Petrogast loves Dedra that knows to bend the rules when she should and could. It has been long overdue if you don't count the casino scene in The Last Jedi and some Coruscant entertainment districts. One of the final scenes were a beautiful Miami sort of scenery, Miami Beach. The planet was called Niamos, and it completely resembled something of a European shores, the Florida beaches and stuff like that. It was great to see people just hanging out, chilling out on a typical resort that we see here on Earth. And it seemed like money well spent by Cassian Andor, who spent the night with a woman, hiding his credits as best as he could, but in the end could not escape the grip of the Empire. The tightening of security has started, and even though you have all the credits you can muster, Cassian Andor now realizes what the rebellion was talking about. Through no fault of his own, he finds himself a victim of the Empire. A shore trooper stops him, agitates him to the point where Cassian seems to lose his cool, and in the end, a KX unit secures him, imprisons him, and the judge issues 6 years in prison for absolutely basically nothing to Cassian. By the way the episode ended with Cyril going through data, it really seems like this could be the point where Cyril starts to turn around, maybe detect the arrest of Cassian Andor, go on and save him, and get out of this misery of the everyday life. It desperately seems like Cyril is meant for much more, a bigger, better life. I guess we'll see with the episodes coming, but let me know what did you think about this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a thumbs up down below, subscribe for dailies. Now you can have an awesome day, Star Wars fans. I'll see you in the next video, and may the Force be with you. Until then.